What's up, guys? Welcome to another video here on Color TV. It's actually kind of surprising to me because I get a lot of comments where people think that I'm saying Color TV, but I think that's kind of self-explanatory. So it's actually the nickname that I'm saying at the beginning of the introductions here on YouTube. It's Khaldor. I'm not quite sure if I'm mumbling, but I think I should point that out because there's quite a lot of people who apparently mix that up. Either way, today we're having more Heroes of the Storm content, and we are going into the winner bracket final of the third Road to BlizzCon Qualifier, where Gamers2 is facing off against BOB. Our first map is Cursed Hollow, and while you already know these two teams, they're actually pretty darn good. And Gamers2 is playing this today with an Illidan composition. They're rocking an Illidan. They have also a very strong front line with Johanna and Leoric, two of those warriors that can push back waves quite easily with the wave clear that they have. Zagara is supposed to deliver the damage then for them. And BOB, on the other hand, they're going into an Arthas together with a Nuburak, and for damage they have Vala and also Nazeebo. So pretty standard composition on the side of BOB at least. Arthas is getting a lot more popular these days, so it's for them still the double warrior setup with two ranged assassin afterwards. And as I already mentioned, the Illidan composition then on the side of their opponents. So game number 1 in the best of 3 series coming up on Cursed Hollow between Gamers2 and BOB. Alright, everybody, lords and ladies and gentlemen and everybody else, we have the first game on Cursed Hollow in the winner bracket of the Road to BlizzCon Qualifier number 3. It's Gamers2 versus BOB. And BOB starting to the left side with Bakery on Uther. We have Zarmany on Arthas, Athera Angel on Nuburak, Snitch on Nazeebo, and ADRD on Vala. To the right side of the map, it is the Polish team with Juve on Illidan, Nika on Johanna, Leo from Poland on Malfurion, Bacek on Zagara, and Shihu on Leoric. So our first game in the best of 3 series here kicking off. I'm Khaldor. With me is again Tetcher. We're going to bring you the coverage here at the Road to BlizzCon Qualifier.
I like the mount setup in the mid lane here. Johanna, aka the Nephilim, running the Tyrael mount, and Leoric, aka the Demon, running the Malthael's Charger.
Next level, right there.
Yeah.
In terms of builds, by the way, on level 1, we see a lot of Regeneration Globe talents for Team BOB. They are running Conjurer's Pursuit and the double Regeneration Master in this case now. It's pretty interesting, once more, to see not Rhaegar but Malfurion picked for Gamers2, since they are running an Illidan. We actually expected them to go for Burst Heal, which they didn't do. And Gamers2, they have a bit of an obsession with Malfurion. Malfurion is actually one of the healers that a lot of the teams don't rely upon as much as they did in the past anymore, and the reason is quite simple. Apparently, there was a bug around for a long time where Malfurion, every single time he activated Tranquility, would heal himself with his heroic ability for twice the amount of heals that were intended. That, of course, helped a lot to keep him alive in those team fights, and that bug got moved out by Blizzard, so it doesn't exist anymore, and therefore it's a bit easier to take down Malfurion once that he goes into Tranquility in a team battle, and that made most of the teams move away from Malfurion. He's still solid, he's still good, but a lot of the teams are now prioritizing Rhaegar over Malfurion, especially of course with Illidan.
Yeah, like we've seen a lot of teams, like we said before the game started. Oh, Illidan getting stunned out there by Bakery. Bakery just dueling them at the moment. But we have seen quite a few teams running a Malfurion with an Illidan and able to win with it, but it's a lot harder than if you have a Burst Heal hero or that Divine Shield from the Uther.
ADRD, by the way, I approve the mount choice. He's running the money pick here. Money pick and the new Black Hearts Doubloon, in my opinion, are the best 2 mounts in the game. Just want to say that again. Of course, Tyrael's Charger is nice. Having that new Malthael mount is also pretty awesome, but nothing beats that Doubloon and the money pick. It's just so much swag. You can't beat that.
Yeah, you're literally riding money. That is how good you are.
Dirty esports money at that.
Yeah, you don't even have to pay to win for it.
Worst joke ever. I like it. So, Snitch at the top lane together with ADRD is currently just making sure that Zagara is not going to get too much pressure. And the cool thing about the setup that we're seeing here is, of course, that Malfurion can throw over Samana with his inner weight to Zagara, who can then spam her spells to push that lane in. So that's a very solid setup. It's not a coincidence that these two heroes are together on the lane.
Bakery arriving into the lane here, ready to help deny this tribute even more. Nika, though, zoning out ADRD a bit. ADRD, though, going to be able to drop a lot of damage onto Nika here and will chase him back. We do see the multi-shot build, as we were discussing earlier.
One of the fun things is that we have a former Gamers2 player, of course, on the side of Bob. It is ADRD, and Gamers2 basically kicked him. And since then, most of the times when Bob faced Gamers2, it was actually Team Bob that were able to win. So ADRD must feel pretty happy about that. But this is a new fight that they are fighting here, and ADRD is about to get sniped. No, he survives for now, but there's Shiku, and he slams him into the ground. But he himself will now pay with his life. Or will he?
Maybe not, actually. He gets off the Drain Hope. He's trying to get away from a Pharaoh Angel. A Pharaoh Angel chases him down and finally finishes him off. We're seeing Leo attempting to grab the Tribute. Bakery is there easily to deny this, but needs to be careful.
The thought process, you could actually just see that Bakery was waiting to use his spells to just zone out Leo, and at some point he was just like, why the hell would I use my mana for that? I can just walk in and hit him. He does that. The problem is, though, that we have Gamers2 still in position to take him down and punish him for it, so he ends up dying regardless. That is a pretty solid position for Gamers2 now, so yeah, a pretty good start into the game. I mean, they're only slightly ahead in experience, but they are probably going to get this tribute, or are they? Yeah, they are. This time they are able to follow through with the channel.
ADRD was trying to come in there to deny it, but could not get there in time and didn't want to get rooted, so had to back out. Down goes Arthas in at the bottom lane, dived by Yuva, who has to jump away here as the tower's done a lot of damage. Bakery coming in, but with Shihu on his tail, will not be able to dive onto Yuva.
And the top lane is still being pressured very hard. Again, that combo with Malfurion and Zagara is extremely strong thanks to the mana that Malfurion can pass on. We have also a few very interesting level 7 talents. First of all, Nazeebo goes in this game into the Toad build on level 7, meaning that after the Toad Affinity on level 7, we're going to see on level 13 the Toads of Hugeness taken as an additional talent. So probably no Ice Block for Nazeebo. And as Zagara is now being hunted, they are trying to go for Leo, but they lose Vala, so that was a bit of a, well, failed attempt by Bob to drop a target here. Originally they wanted to go for Zagara, they switched targets over to Malfurion, but they didn't kill either, and now they lost their Vala player. So unfortunately for Bob, they are a level behind right now, and they are quite, well, they are actually struggling in this case.
Yeah, very nice turnaround by Gamers2 in that fight, and as such, Bob not even moving up to that tribute. They're just going to leave that there. Snitch preparing to spider over the wall just so he can deny it, but he's missing out on XP in the top lane while he is here. And spiders... There we go. So they're just trying to deny this for as long as possible, but they're not going to attempt to take it for themselves. We see Bakery still in that bot lane, and Noob and Arthas in the mid lane. ADRD and Snitch will just camp this tribute for now. Snitch from over the wall, and ADRD from the watchtower.
Yuva, on the other hand, now that they are close to level 10, is just simply stealing one of the camps away, and he's saying like, yeah, well, you can deny that tribute to us as long as you want, we're just going to steal your camps, and then you have to deal with the Bruiser camp. At the same time, the top lane is now being pushed in by 3 heroes. They just gave up on the tribute and said they're going straight for the structures. We have the level 10 abilities for them, and that is, in this case, Metamorphosis, Blessed Shield, Tranquility, Maw, and the March of the Black King. The tribute also ends up in the hands of Gamers2. They are playing an extremely good game right now, and this is a very tricky situation for Bob to be in. They have to deal with so many problems at the same time. That level 10 that we're seeing for Gamers2, the Bruiser camp that moves in, the bot lane that is being pushed by Illidan. This is a really tricky situation.
Yeah, it was actually very nice positioning by Nika as they did grab that tribute. Due to the fact that, well, Snitch was continuing to throw spiders from over the wall there. There's a Divine Storm on Bakery here, just want to point that out. But seeing as Snitch was throwing spiders over the wall, Nika just positioned himself next to the wall to make sure the spiders aggroed on him instead of the person grabbing the tribute.
Yeah, we have now so far no Cocoon taken or Locust Swarm for Abathur Angel. He hasn't picked his heroic yet. The rest of them have, though. We see Army of the Dead, no Divine Shield, but instead it's the Divine Storm to have another stun available against Illidan here. Gary the Gargantuan and the Strafe, and Zarmony is about to lock them down. They lock everybody down here. Well played, but the problem is that Johanna still had her Iron Skin, and Nika is able to move away, at least for now, but he's being hunted by 4 heroes, but they do not get the kill against Johanna. They turn around and take down Leoric, but Johanna lives.
That was also, I think, 2 heroics, maybe 3, I have the bug, used by Bob there just to take down Leoric.
That was a lot of heroes used. They used Divine Shield, they used Strafe, and in the end they ended up also using Gary the Gungeon. Down to the bot lane where the tribute is, we have AD suddenly with a bit of a problem. He needs to get a heal, and Bakery is there to help him out, and they're trying to lock down Leoric again. Zarmony is also attempting to get close enough to interrupt the tribute channel again, and they need to kind of try and... they won't be able to make it. Nope, there it is, the curse against Bob. Well played by Gamers2.
Yeah, Uther doesn't have that extra range on level 4. He instead went for that protective shield, so was not able to deny that tribute. And like you said, this is a curse over towards Gamers2, who are now putting a lot of pressure onto this mid lane. They want to get a Ford out of this. Illidan hovering around the boss, just making sure that nothing cheeky's happening.
And the Siege Giant camp at the bot lane was able to destroy one fort already. That's one of the camps that Illidan took earlier. It's one of the reasons why the hero is actually so good, since you can just solo mercenary camps on the map quite easily. And of course with him already with the first aid, he can just do that 6 days a Sunday. Has no problem coming from camp to camp if he has the time to do that. Could even go with a bit of assistance for boss. That's something that you actually oftentimes see if there's an Abathur in play as well, that very early in the game Illidan and Abathur together can take a boss on Cursed Hollow or any other map. It's of course a bit of a risk and quite a time investment, but it is possible. 13
Oh, he's doing it.
Yeah, he's actually going for it, exactly. He has level 13 now. They have Giant Killer in this case on him. Interesting that he did not take the evasion talent, but instead goes for full damage. It's very rare that you actually see that happen.
Well, with the evasion talent, there is a decent amount of spell damage from the side of Bob. But instead, Yuva's like, well, I have to dive in, and I don't have that burst healing, so I might as well just get as much damage off while I'm alive as possible.
Shihu, he Wraith walks in,
nope.
And decides against it. Yeah, well, he thought about it.
Yeah, had a bit of a mental conflict there, just like, is this a good idea? Am I about to suicide? Yeah, I'm gonna not do this.
Yeah, is this a good idea? Should I really kill my son and wife or the people of Tristram first? I'm not quite sure. Maybe later. Good old Leoric. That Diablo lore. Well, for now the bosses have to be defended against, of course. We see on level 13 the Biting Cold taken, even with Frostburn on level 4. For destruction, so we could actually see Arthas going into a full damage build and not even take Stone Skin on 16, but instead go straight into Frostburn feats to get another hit with Frostburn. We have, in terms of the talents, as already mentioned before, the Toad build, the Toads of Hugeness now also in play, and the Frost Shot for the multi-shot build that we're seeing used by Vala in this case. Illidan is going to have a bit of a tougher time, since there's also a Shrink Ray available to Uther now, so with both of the teams on the same talent, the next fight is going to happen on an eye level.
Johanna taking a little bit of damage. She does have her Iron Skin available. Tries to move into this point, which Bob are attempting to steal. They do get the Bruiser Cap. Nice Divine Storm takes down Johanna. And Leoric as well. Very nice there. Who is in that Web Blast? It is, in fact, Malfurion, and he's gone.
Malfu? So, yeah, he didn't really...
It's like a birthday present. Get ready to open your presents, kid. It's a Malfurion. Oh, you broke it.
Yeah, the only You broke his back actually, and his neck. So yeah, the only question in this case was, is it Illidan? Does he have a chance to jump away with Metamorphosis, yes or no? And it turns out that Malfurion has not the best escape options here, who would have thought? So the tribute that we're seeing is going to end up in the hands of Team Bob, since there's, well, two heroes that are still not able to rush in fast enough to really deny and fight. So we have AD and Snitch currently with the deep push of the bot lane. It's 5 kills versus 4 kills. But when it comes to structures, then Gamers2 is still in a much better position, since they already took out all of the forts and they themselves haven't lost a single one just yet.
Yeah, Gamers2 just need to keep map control at the moment and not suicide into team fights like they just did. And they should be able to take this game at fairly nicely. But Bob, still keeping even XP despite having a huge fort disadvantage. If they can start winning a couple more team fights, or at least counter-pushing some buildings, and they're in a really good position to try and come back here. Arthas getting rooted, but able to get out.
Level 16 talents, now with the Tenacious Root, Mutalisk, and 2 Brute expansion for Zagara. Illidan, of course, going into the Blood for Blood so that he can stay alive in those team fights a bit longer. With Johanna going into Imposing Presence. And Leoric, I mean, for him, it could be an Imposing Presence as well, if he really feels like he needs it. There's, of course, that Searing attack to be considered that we're seeing on Vala, but he decides to not go Imposing Presence, and instead it's the Renewed Swing. So even more pushing power here for Shihu now.
Yeah, Shihu just super aggressive here with this Leoric. Does get demounted by Zarmony. And we're seeing the teams posturing around at the moment. Illidan is not here, but he is on the way.
I like the executioner talent. We've been talking about this earlier. It is a great option if you have this much stun and slow in your team setup. Stone skin still for Arthas, who's at the front line right now. They are disengaging, but at this point, with the searing attacks, like Vala can do so much damage, especially against Leoric. If you have executioner and slow them down, that is going to be amazing. We have a level 16 versus 16 and another tribute attempt, but Yuvo already cancelling it, and in comes Leoric. Trying to take them down with the March of the Black King, but he gets dropped.
The Strafe doing so much damage. In comes Illidan with the Metamorphosis, but he gets stunned up by the Divine Storm and gets taken down. It is currently a 3-for-1. The Maw was nice, but there's no follow-up for it. And we're seeing Gamers2 back away from this, and Bob will take the tribute.
A great trade for them, a 1-4-3, that worked really, really well here. These stuns on Bakery with the Divine Storm are exactly what they need, and that was well done. That's the second tribute for them, and they are really starting to gain some momentum. They haven't really been able to do anything with it. They didn't take down a single structure just yet, but they are working towards it. And them winning these team fights is already a very good start to gain some map control and allow them to maybe even take the Kirsten later on. But they still have to translate that advantage that they have into destroyed structures. They haven't taken down anything yet, and they need to work on it.
Yeah, they're currently, we can even see Nazebo in the bot lane just spending all of his time clearing the wave and defending. ADRD was pushed very far up just to get that top lane pushing so that they could get something out of this. In the meantime, Gamers2 just playing safe on their own side of the map now, grabbing some mercenaries.
Now Shihu is starting to move and try and take the watchtower here. He has to move away with the lingering apparition, but Baker is trying to lock him down, but he's a bit too late for that. Tribute at the bot lane, and this is really where it starts to become serious for Gamers2. They're already a bit behind. They had a great start into the game, but they were falling off, and now they have to try and take this one. They will be able to do that, and maybe they're going to get a free kill against Snitch, who's completely out of position here.
Yeah, he was there to try and deny the turn, instead got rooted and picked off. We now see Zarmony in a bit of trouble here, gets condemned, but he's Arthas. He's able to pull back.
Yeah, in comes Shihu, and immediately the web blast, the cocoon, to make sure that he can move away, or at least the rest of the team is able to escape. They are trying to fight for this one, but they are not able to do it, since there's just not, like, there's not enough pushing power right now without Nazebo. They need Nazebo for the damage, they need those spiders, they need those toads, and without them they can't do anything. And that kill against Snitch now allows Gamers to not only take their tribute, they are easily going to take a boss, and probably the one at the top as well. I understand the thought process from Snitch, trying to delay the tribute so that the rest of the team can just like join up and then make something happen. But him dying put his team in a horrible position.
His team actually got distracted and greeded way too hard into Shihu. Their secondly Rave Walk, they should have ditched him. Oh, Illidan getting rooted, has to Metamorphosis to get out of that route so he doesn't get picked off here. But yeah, the whole team of Bob, basically 3 members, were so busy trying to catch out Shihu that they were nowhere near that ready to either contest that tribute or help Snitch.
It's actually a bit surprising to me that Gamers2 commits to this attack. I expected them to take the boss and then move to the top lane to take the second one and catch the tribute. But they didn't do that, so they wasted an opportunity here. They could have gotten a lot more map control out of this, and they tried to drop the keep. They did not succeed, so now there is still a boss on the map that can be taken by whatever team wins the next team fight here.
Nice iron skin by Nika, making sure he doesn't get caught out here. The good Maw onto both of the frontline members. We're seeing Shihu getting in behind here. The cocoon has been used on to the Malfurion here. He comes out with the Tranquility Strafe being used by ADRD, dropping huge damage onto Yuva, who gets taken down, and so does Shihu straight away. Zarmony having to back out as he's already quite low. Johanna trying to chase him in.
Good double kill here. Abathur is low. He needs to move away. He can't go in. There is the kill against Arthas, but they get a kill against Zagara and also against Johanna. That tribute is going to curse Gamers2. Leo is dying as well. They can go for the boss. They can actually go for boss and the tribute. They could even time it, but Leoric is there, so they don't want to risk it. They're going to go for boss, but they still have those lanes pushing, and that is extremely powerful, especially with that Siege Giant Camp pushing the top lane here. They already took down one of the forts thanks to that Siege Giant Camp, and now we are seeing them with the level 20s, which drops Nexus Frenzy into the hands of Vala with that Executioner talent and the Searing Arrows. She is going to do a massive amount of damage right now with her auto attacks.
Yeah, she's looking really solid right now. Shihu sneaking around, trying to find stuff. He was in his ghost form, gaining vision, will now be back to defend as him and Illidan are the only ones alive here. And Bob finally pushing back in and starting to gain gain some structures here, and will get the first keep of the game.
And they are taking the keep here, and that's not even with the boss. They could theoretically also push for core now. They have still at level 20 advantage, and with the boss moving in, this is really a good chance for them if they want to.
Isn't here. It'll be 5 versus 4. They need to be careful.
Well, he's on the way though. The boss will probably die by the time. If they can put some pressure onto the heroes, they might be able to stall. They're trying to get a kill against Nika here, locking him down. He doesn't have Iron Skin available anymore, and goodbye Nika. Yes, he dies. Oh, no. That maw. Oh my god, that completely negated the March of the Black King. Zagara about to die. Zarmony is finally back, and this is horrible. Gamers2 is probably going to lose the game now.
Yeah, beautiful strafe by Valor there, killing off Yuva. Leo from Korea, the only one alive, backing up into his hall, and that will be GG. Bob, with the comeback, take the game, and it is now 1-0.
Bob with a 1-0 lead after the game on Cursed Hollow. They take the lead in the best of 3 series, they win on Cursed Hollow, and now Gamers2 of course needs to win 2 in a row if they really want to advance to the winner bracket final of the road to BlizzCon Qualifier. They are trying to start this off with a match on Sky Temple. It's their map choice, and again they're relying on Illidan here, but this time they're going for a much more aggressive composition. Not only Illidan, but also as his sidekick here is Tyrael right now, so the two of them can dive in deep. And we're seeing on top of all of that an Abathur to help Illidan out with Symbiote, and also Uther for the Divine Shield. So pretty sick composition here for Gamers2, a very strong one. Bob on the other hand, they rely again for their healing capabilities on Kharazim, the Monk. Bakery is one of the players that really loves to play the Monk, and he's extremely good at it. As damage, they have also Vala and also running a Jaina here, so pretty strong for them here too. And for the front line, it is Illidan, one of the tankiest tanks that we have in the game, and Leoric for a bit of additional wave clear. So solid compositions for both of the teams, a lot of aggression on Gamers2. They really need to make an impact here. They need to win Sky Temple if they want to force Bob into a third map and have a chance of reaching the winner bracket final without dropping into the loser bracket. So guys, let's get right into it. Sky Temple coming up next between Gamers2 and Bob. Welcome to game number 2, everybody. Bob in the lead against Gamers2 at the road to BlizzCon. And well, to the left side of the map we have once again an Illidan composition for Gamers2. The Polish team tried it in the first map, didn't really work out, so now they're giving them it another shot. We have Nika on Abathur, Yuva on Illidan, Leo from Poland on Uther, Shihu on Tyrael, and Bacek on Nazeebo. With the right side team rocking Kharazim on Bakery, Snitch with the Jaina, Zarmony on Murden, Athera Angel on Leoric, and ADRD playing Vala once more. The last game ended in favor of Bob, so they are in the lead here. And, well, of course, in this case, I have to adjust the overlay real quick because apparently something went wrong. Mistakes were made during that last, during the lobby. But yeah, the team is already trying to aim straight for the, for their positions here on the map.
Yeah, it's just splitting up into lanes at the moment. No one in bot lane for either team, but they'll start making their way down there as the minions do spawn. Illidan running into Valor a little bit, but nothing too bad. Neither team actually in the bot lane yet.
So after this very, very smooth transition with our overlay that of course was totally intended, we're now ready to go straight into the potential fight at the bot lane where we have Zarmony and Duel going up against each other. So it looks like Illidan is going to be shadowed by Muradin, at least for now. Reach has been taken as the talent on Uther, not going into Conjurer's Pursuit here. And it's going to be interesting to see how exactly Kharazim is being played here with Transcendence up at the top lane. Bakery is going to rock the... by the way, I love how Kharazim is sitting on the carpet on the doubloon. That is,
yeah,
it's really awesome. It's one of those small things, one of these details that Blizzard is just known for.
Yeah, I love the heroes who do stuff differently. Like the way Sylvanas sits like crouched on top of horses is really cool.
Yeah, that's also pretty cool. I mean, down in the bot lane, Zarmani and AD are actually still in a position where they are pushing this back as much as they can. Normally when the temples activate, you see rotations happening. Not sure if AD is going to abandon the bot lane and allows Abathur to move in, and actually he does. So they're going to try and fight for the temples now. Top temple, they actually back fight at the watchtower instead. Screw the temples, like who needs temples when you have watchtowers? Shihu, the first one to die, and Juve is also low. They get both of them, but the counter kill against Muradin, that's the only kill that they get though, so it's still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Bob.
Yeah, that was looking really ugly for a second, but Snitch was able to get through that brush to make it so that he wasn't picked off, and Bakery dashing to him to save himself as well. Very well played by Bob, able to really do some damage control there. Bye, Nicker.
Oh no! Oh, AD nearly taking down Abathur, but Nicker slugs away. Well done here. Saves Abathur for now, and therefore the position on the map. Has to abandon the experience for a second until he can use the symbiote, but that was just a move in the last second. Still the fight happening over here where Shihu is being attacked, and with that Blizzard they can maybe take down Tyrael. So close.
Bakery looking for it. Juve's actually in position to maybe try and ambush here, but he's on half health on his own. Uther is above him, but they decide against it.
Yeah, and well, for now we are currently seeing we're seeing Zarmani and Bakery still taking those temple shots, but talking about the first temple phase still, by the way. These teams have been fighting it out in the middle for a long time, and therefore delaying the last few shots on the temple for quite a bit. Bakery still there, a lot of sustain on Kharazim, of course, thanks to his Transcendence and the protective shield, and he's trying to rock with Zarmani that mid-temple, but Juve's jumping in to kill Muradin again, and he gets his wish granted.
Bakery now is the target, taking a lot of damage, is able to use Radiant Dash onto the Leoric to make sure he doesn't get killed off.
Yeah, still the shots fired here against the mid lane of Bob. Bob currently on level 6, as is Gamers2. Gamers2 with a slight learning experience, nothing really to write home about. In this case, it should actually even out once that the waves are going to reach the towers again. But we have 2 kills against 2. Very even game. Very similar, by the way, to what we saw in Cursed Hollow. So both of these matches, so far at least, pretty even. And well, let's find out if Gamers2 with that Illidan, once that they hit level 7 for the next temple wave, can maybe claim another objective.
Yeah, kills currently at 2-2. Both teams will hit level 7. Level 7 already available for Gamers2, but Bob will not be very far behind them. They were just grabbing a mercenary, which is why they are a little bit slower.
The synergy between Regeneration Master and Amplified Healing for Tyrael is great. It will help him to stay alive a lot during these fights. Shiku is currently trying to use his hero here, of course, his zone as well a bit, and can later on then jump in with the Judgment to help out Illidan. The two of them can also create some space for Nazeebo, who potentially is going to use Ravenous Spirit. They're seeing the Echo of Heaven now taken for Kharazim for the additional heals. The Ice Lance for Jaina with the cooldown reduction. It appears for Storm Bolt on Muradin's side, and with the Lingering Apparition, especially Leoric is going to be able to get out of these fights quite easily. The Searing Attack on Bala is also something that has to be considered here, because it's going to put some pressure on Tyrael, who's most likely going to go for Imposing Will on level 13, which should help him to negate that a bit.
Bob grabbing their Bruiser camp straight away, not going to wait for the temple to spawn in the bot lane, just going to put the pressure onto that top lane, as they know that, well, Gamers2 will almost definitely wait for their mercenary camp. They grab it instead of waiting for the temple to spawn, just to use as extra defense on the bruisers from Bob.
Yeah, in experience, the two teams are still extremely close. Juve's jumping in again. Ethereal Angel might have to use Lingering Apparition, but he's trying to bait Illidan in, and Illidan is very much baited already. But can he get a kill against Leoric? Nah, he's a bit too late, and he's getting completely locked down. They ignore the temple at the bot lane, and they're just trying to push up at the top. An interesting move on the side of Bob right now. They're actually starting to rotate away. I guess they're gonna attempt to soak as many lanes as possible.
Yeah, they have Leoric already in the mid lane. ADRD staying up top. Abathur is up there with her. Bruiser camp will die quite shortly, and Valor now going to leave that top lane, and they're finally moving down to bot. Looks like they just want those last couple shots. And Illidan is alive again. He is on the way as well, and will arrive about the same time Valor does, if not a little later.
Shihu is going to... he soaks a lot of these shots actually before he has to jump away. He can still use Eldruin's Might to get out of this situation, but he goes deep. He actually wants to fight here. They have Abathur on the top lane soaking experience, and Gamers2 is claiming this. They have their heroic ability. There is no judgment used just yet, but Juve and Shihu are looking for potential target. They have Metamorphosis, the copy on Abathur. We have also
Speaking
Gary
of Abathur top lane.
And
There we
Abathur
go,
taken
revenge.
out by AD. This time he actually gets him.
Yeah. Well, with Abathur down, this is actually a pretty good time for Bob to fight. And it looks like they want to try and at least maybe get something in the middle lane. Getting a little bit of a scuffle, just a little bit of a skirmish. But no one overly committing because Leoric's still in the bot lane and Valor still in the top lane.
Divine Palm used for Kharazim, so Bakery is going to go for the heals here with the March of the Black King, Avatar, Water Elemental and Strafe, completing the heroic abilities for them. 11, like level 11 for both of them. 4 kills against 2, so a slight lead here when it comes to the kills for Bob, but they have lost one objective over Gamers2. Again, they're all jumping in, trying to take the Siege Giants here. Metamorphosis is already used as Shihu is going in with the Judgment against Jaina. He's not getting the kill just yet. Divine Palm has been used, but the kill is not completed in time, and therefore Jaina dies regardless. A bit unfortunate here, but great play by Gamers2, not taking her down until Divine Palm is off. They still lose Illidan, though an ADRD just barely survives thanks to Bakery's heals.
Yeah, he would have died to the spider poison there. Just a clutch heal from Bakery there. And the mercenary camp does go over to Bob, able to take that fight in a 2-for-1. The Divine Palm is one of those talents where if you have 3 seconds, if you don't die within those 3 seconds, Divine Palm doesn't do anything. And that is actually a very, very big deal. So if you're a team that if you realize during a fight that one of your opponents has been a Divine Palm, then you can just immediately shout that out, make sure that nobody attacks that hero for a couple of seconds, and then you can take him down. If that doesn't happen, then you try to drop the hero, but he will come back with a lot of hit points once again, and that is always a very annoying thing to happen. Bakery can make some very clutch rescues happen with that, but only if Gamers2 does not see the talent being applied. Yeah, it's a very high skill and a very high risk, high reward ability.
To the top lane, we actually have a lot of pressure. Again, the temples are activated, and Uther at the bot lane is claiming the one for Gamers2. Up at the top, we have Kharazim trying to take the shots here, switching over with Leoric, actually. In terms of kills, we're still seeing Bob in a better position, but Gamers2 has that level 13 talent a little bit faster because they are doing really well when it comes to the objectives in this game.
Yeah, they are grabbing most of the temples pretty much every time, but Bob will get every shot from this top one, and this will give them their first fort of the game.
Now, level 13 talents now. Thing of the Deep taken for Nazeebo over the potential Ice Blocker. Stun attempt by Zarmany, but he's not hitting Illidan here. Nice wall of zombies, but Bakery can of course dash out. Seems like he was in cooldown there. We have Illidan in this game not going for Giant Killer, but now he's using the evasion talent, which is way more standard. And still pretty nice talents also for the control here on the side of Bob. They do not have the Shrink Ray available to them this time, but they still have that Frost Shot on Vala, which is going to help against Illidan a lot in these fights.
Zarmany looking for something there, but the zombie wall will zone him away. Abathur just turning the bot lane, not proxying this time as the wave is pushed up very far. And Jaina just heading down there to clear that up quickly.
Yeah, the team's both on level 14 right now, and again the push in the mid lane. Abathur soaking as much as he can. That Mule is such a great talent for Gamers2 in this game. Them being able to just like heal up these structures is so good. Against the Water Elemental in play in the mid lane, we have that fight. The two summonables are there with Gary and the Water Elemental both trying to find the target.
Yeah, ultimate evolution of Tyrael here. Just trying to drop some extra damage, do some harassment, and that has forced Bob completely out of this area, but evolution does expire.
Yeah, the evolution expires, and that's 2 heroic abilities that are currently in cooldown for them. Zarmany down here needs to be careful though, because Leoric already committed to the Bruiser camp at the top, so he's going to try and push the top lane a bit. We already saw a Bruiser camp taken by the opponent's team a bit earlier, and that means that they have to go for a bit of a counterplay here. The boss is still one of the things that is available on the map, and therefore the teams have to be careful that they are not losing out on the boss. So you always see like one of the heroes sneaking over, checking if something happens, if they do not see the opponent's team on the map.
Right now, Bob just playing defensively. They do not want to lose this fort. Muradin's on his way up, so it will be a 5 versus 4 for a little bit, as Illidan is currently soloing the boss with the duoing the boss with Abathur. Actually, without Abathur. There we go. Abathur arriving just in time. And Bob, they don't really know about this, but they know Illidan's not on the map. They can't see him, so they probably have a suspicion it's going on, and we can see him rushing down. And Yuba's like, yeah, I don't want a 1 versus 5 under boss.
Yeah, that would probably that would not really work well for him. And now we have also the 2 temples coming online, so in this case it looks like we have even a talent advantage for Bob. If they get that 16 faster, which should be the case here, they will have a very good position to take a fight and maybe even drop 1 or 2 heroes so that they can get more than only 1 temple. They already have the extra healing talent for Kharazim on level 16 now with a Circle of Life. Relentless is usually the standard talent for Bakery to take on Kharazim, and he has taken that already, with 1 imposing presence in play on Leori to have more counter action against Illidan.
Level 16 now hit for Gamers2, a little bit slower than Bob here, Shehu having to Eldarin's Might over the wall so he doesn't get caught out. Level 16s from Gamers2, we do see that Envenomous Spines from the Abathur Blood for Blood on Illidan to act as that little health potion for him. Benediction on Uther to help keep Illidan alive. The Holy Ground coming in from Tyrael to try and zone people out. And a Zebo with that extra damage on the Leaping Spiders.
The one thing that should really worry Gamers2 but Bob is that they have no fort left. They have only keeps left, and they themselves have only taken down a single fort. They need to do more damage to structures. They need to either take these objectives or at least prevent the mule from repairing the buildings over and over again. They are they're very well positioned when it comes to the experience, but their biggest problem is really just trying to take down structures of their opponent, because in the end these temples are going to take down keeps, and that is the big problem of Bob at this point.
Bob rushing in here, trying to get control of this temple. Zarmony tanking very nicely here, but Snitch getting zoned out, taking a lot of damage. There's the stun lock. Divine Palm. No, it's not Divine Palm. It is in fact the Ice Block. There's the Divine Palm on him, but this time it does activate, so Snitch is back to turn around onto Yuva here. Nice Holy Ground. So singling out Bakery, but he dashes towards Snitch again to try to keep him alive, but Yuva takes him down.
Judgment being used as well to take down Kharazim. It's a triple kill in favor of Gamers2, and the Polish team is now rushing in to take down Leoric, but Ethereal Angel is able to escape, at least for now. He's gonna get away here. Nice attempt to use Holy Ground to stop him from entering the gate, but it was just a second too late. It still allows Gamers2 to push in, take the structures down. They could even go for boss. They can also claim the temple at the bot lane to get those additional shots. It's at least gonna cost Bob 1 of their keeps.
Yeah, this keep will go down. Muradin now back to full health. It is coming back to try and help defend, but like you said, the keep is doomed. Illidan, though, getting stunned out here, has to dash over the wall to escape.
Yeah, can easily make that happen, and now they're rushing away here. They could still try and go for the temple, and they will do that. The only question is, are they... Nah, they can't really go for boss. Somebody for... Alright, so that water pipe just lying there, and Illidan like flies in and pushes it away. I have no idea who lost that there. Somebody lost his bong on Sky Temple.
There we're seeing Bob moving into that temple, grabbing the last... Oh no, last few shots did still go over to Gamers2. They tried, but they just pushed Gamers2 back away from this area.
It's still there, by the way.
So... Yeah, it's not a hero's item, it's one of the map items.
I have no idea how it ended up in that position, but I love how Illidan's carpet actually pushed it around.
There's quite a few of them around the map. There's just a couple lying around in places, and they're all physics objects.
And they're pushing it around again. Nah, not this time. So level 19 versus level 18. 6 kills against 6. Still even talents for the team. But look at this bad boy up here. Yuva is trying to steal another camp away. And they already, well, Gamers2, they killed the first keep. Oh, he's a bit too late. And in, they has to use Metamorphosis to jump away. And he does.
Water Elemental following him here. Jaina casting it over the wall to chase him down. They want to punish him here. Leoric having to Wraith Walk to try and get out of here. Yuva still being chased. Shehu's down to target. He gets stunned up. Illidan thinking about diving in here. But nice Holy Ground prevents any more pursuit.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice Holy Ground, so that worked out well for them. There is the copy on Illidan. They burst it down, of course, but that bought enough time for the rest of the Gamers2 players to move away and make sure that they're not getting chased down. They are still very far ahead in experience now, and once that they hit level 20, it's going to be an extra talent. But it looks like Bob is trying to force a fight by simply going for the opponent's Boozer camp.
Yeah, they are trying. Illidan is not here, so they will be fighting with a numbers advantage. Zarmony dropping low, pops his stone skin. His stone form to make sure he doesn't get taken down. Leaping Spiders will damage him a bit on the way out, but he heals up pretty much to full straight away.
Juve in the mid lane was taking down another creep wave, and therefore they are very close to level 20 now. They will get that in just a few seconds, and that's a very unfortunate position for Bob to be in, because they already lost their first keep, and that temple at the top lane is most likely going to destroy a second one. So they are actually thinking about going for boss instead. And that's where we see Juve with Abathur. So the Bob double checks what's happening here, but the level 20 talent is now available to Gamers2, and that gives them a very big advantage at this point in time.
We see Bob there attempting to at least catch someone out, because if they can catch someone out, they can gain a huge advantage at level 20 or not. They only need to get one kill, really. Level 20s, like you said, available for Gamers2. We have the Hive Mind from the Abathur. Demonic Form on the Illidan. Redemption was picked by Uther. The hardened Shield on the Tyrell, and Bolt the Storm. Just that protection from the Nazebo.
That mule again doing overtime in the mid lane and repairing the fort. This is just so annoying for Bob at this point. Really well played by Gamers2. That mule is absolutely... he's doing amazing work here. Very well done by them, and apparently now they've had enough and they just move into the mid lane to drop this one. Of course, it's additional experience that they are able to pick up now too. So with this, they should have a bit of an easier time trying to go for 20, and they will hit that very soon. As, by the way, only Tyrell there. The Tyrell copy is coming into play now, though. And here comes Judgment, and Juve is flanking as well. The level 20 is still not there. Vala is using her strafe. AD already with so much damage against them, but Bakery is healing everybody. Level 20 is finally available with a peaceful response here that we have. And he's trying to keep them alive again, but Shihu dies first. And Bakery keeps himself alive with his heroic ability.
ADRD getting focused by Illidan. They're trying to take him down, but he's just getting so much healing. Illidan takes down Valor. He jumps to freedom. Can he get out? Muradin trying to chase him down. A Pharaoh Angel's there as well. They finally take down Yuva, and that is a 2 for 2. Can they make it a 3 for 2? Leo from Korea is out of position. Down he goes.
They kill him as well. Only Vala didn't take her rogue ability yet. She should have maybe gone for a quick cast on a Bolt of the Storm. She could have gotten out of the fight, but it's instead Nexus Frenzy.
Oh, mistakes.
So going for the extra damage. And Aether Angel is barely getting away, but everybody is still mounted. Nice Stormbolt here, but Bashek with the leaping spiders. And they're so annoying. Can he jump?
A Pharaoh going into the aggro, so he takes
wow.
down instead. Leo still coming in. Can he get it with the Holy Radiance? The slow from a Pharaoh. He's sacrificed himself here. Somebody so close. And they do all get out.
Screw sacrificing. He's just moving into the other direction and says, like, I got this. So he moves away. It's still 2 keeps against 1, but this game is all of a sudden wide open. I mean, we could still see that taken. There is still Leo to be considered, and the top temple is active, so somebody has to go up there and take the last few shots.
It looks like it's going to be Shihu. Bob nowhere near. They're actually trying to chase down Nazebo here. Nazebo is already out of here. This Siege Giant camp will go over to Bob. And now the boss is open. It looks like Bob may try to grab this as they know someone is top. Instead, going for the Siege Giants and just waiting in the bush to see if they can catch someone trying to deny that boss.
Vala, with all the damage that we're going to see with the auto attacks, is a very, very big danger now to Illidan. She has the searing attacks, and it's going to be really brutal. Once that shield is down, Illidan is going to have a massive problem here. So it's a ton of damage that we're going to see from ADRD, and that could really turn the tide of these battles. 9 kills against 8 so far. Bob has been doing well, and the next temple phase is going to be crucial to them.
Yeah, if they can get the next temple phase, then they are in a good position to start really fighting back against Gamers2. They've been keeping up this entire time in levels like last game. But they haven't really been doing it so much in buildings, once again, like last game, but they need to win a lot more team fights, like last game.
Yeah, well, for now, Shiku up at the top lane is going to try and just, like, check out what's going on. But, like, basically for now, it's really all about where's my opponent, what are they doing, can we take more camps than they do, can we maybe go for boss, are they going to try and lay a trap somewhere, can we get maybe like a lucky pick off somewhere on the map, and that's what they are doing. We have most of the time both teams moving as 5, and they are still dodging, like they're still like moving around the boss, because both of them know once that this guy is taken, it's probably going to end the game.
Yeah, the throw pit is available, and Illidan has been trying to take it all game. Zarbali trying to bait it out here, but 2 temples are available, and Bob are in a slightly better position here, but Gamers2 may just try and sneak the boss while all this is happening, and Illidan He's already on it.
Yeah, and if they do, there is no keep at the bot lane anymore, so that's something that BOB cannot allow, and that's why they're moving down. But Jaina is currently missing. They're still trying to zone everybody out, and so far they're doing a decent job with it. They are not able to go for those temples just yet. They're trying to go for Juve, though. Juve is getting locked down already, but uses heroic ability to jump in once again, and now this time everybody of Gamers2 is ready. We already have the copy on ADRD being used, the Divine Shield straight on Illidan, and he's jumping in, he's going deep, but ADRD himself is already using his strafe and is pushing everybody back. Nika's copy of Illidan is nearly down. The heroes are still alive, but the jump against Vala, and there's the Divine Palm, and it actually works. Great play by Bakery, but they're still on the retreat.
Uther is still here as well. He still has redemption available. Juve going on to Jaina, pops the ice block, try to keep herself alive. Juve dropping low. He's still alive. He gets out Bakery with the chase, but it's not able to finish him off. Jaina dies in the background. Bakery now in full retreat, needs to get back to his team. And that was a 1-0. Zarbany may make it a 2-0. Oh, nice heal by Bakery.
Bakery heals him in the last second, but Illidan is still alive, and he is, guess what, going straight for the boss. He wants it, and he wants that right now, and if they take the 2 temples as well, then it's gonna be lights out for BOB, and they know it too. They have to move out onto the map, even though they have only 4 heroes still alive, so they are starting to move in here. Abathur, Angel, and Bakery are currently in the mid lane, soaking a few of the shots, and Mirror is moving up to the top to do exactly the same thing. There's only Leo. Gamers2 is split, and maybe that's the chance for BOB, even though they still lack Jaina's power.
Vala is here as well, trying to take down Leo, gets the slow, chasing on into him. Here's Bakery as well. They're going to get Leo here. He does have his redemption, so he will be back very soon, but that is the boss going over to Gamers2. There's already a minion wave on the core in this bottom lane. They're grabbing Siege Giants as well. Gamers2 looking to just end through the bot lane here.
Yeah, so we have now not only the boss, but also the Siege Giants pushing the bot lane, and there is no keep left.
Oh, no snitch.
Oh, and he gets jumped, but a very good move on his ice block, negating that. The question is just, can they really defeat that 23-minute boss?
Emperor Angel using his Drain Hope onto Illidan here. In comes the Illidan clone from Nika, trying to take down Snitch. March of the Black King does do quite a bit of damage, and down goes the Illidan clone. The boss is on the core. Juve just going to try and join it. They're just going to try and take down the core before BOB can kill them all off. And there's the Divine Shield of Illidan, and that looks like it will be enough. Gamers2 finishing off the core here, and that is GG. The score going to 1-1.
The series is tied, and we are going to see a 3rd game coming up in just a few seconds here at the road to BlizzCon Qualifier. The Polish team ties the series up. Suddenly it's a 1-1, and we're going into our 3rd map, Tomb of the Spider Queen. And if you look at the composition that we have here for the 2 teams, it's very reminiscent of what we've seen on Cursed Hollow game number 1. For Gamers2, again, we have Leoric and Johanna as their front line, and the front line of Team BOB is again Arthas and Nubarak. So when it comes to the setup at the front for the carriers, the tanks of course, then it's pretty similar to what we saw on the first game, but the damage dealers have been switched out a bit. So for example, we are seeing Raynor now being played on Tomb of the Spider Queen. He's a great hero here, it's his best map. Well, reason is quite obvious. Seasoned Marksman is just absolutely a phenomenal talent on this map in particular, so you can get a lot of damage out of it. But you have to keep him safe somehow, and that is what Uther is going to be for. So going to try and run this with Raynor, also with Zagara and Uther to keep them safe, whereas their opponent, Gamers2, is relying on the 2 tanks that we've mentioned before with all the wave clear that they have, and Nazebo plus Vala. So very good compositions for both of the teams going into this 3rd match. The loser will drop into the losers bracket, so we'll still have a chance to reach the overall grand final, but the winner will already take a major step towards that goal, reaching the winner bracket final here. So guys, let's jump into game number 3. We have Tomb of the Spider Queen coming up next, the final map between Gamers2 and BOB. Game on, and we have Tomb of the Spider Queen as our 3rd and final map between BOB and Gamers2. To the left side of the map, it is BOB with Bakery on Uther. We have Snitch on Raynor playing the commander here, with a Thero Angel on Nubarak, ADRD on Zagara, and Zarbany on Arthas. To the right side of the map, the Polish team with Leo from Korea on Rega. We have Nika on Vala, Bacek on Sibo, Shihu on Leoric, and Johanna played by Juve. So Gamers2 was pretty much able to lock down Leoric and Johanna for themselves, and one of the counters that Bob has played or will play here is Raynor, and they were kind of forced into something a little bit unorthodox. They had a choice between a false start and a Raynor, decided for Raynor here because a lot of the damage heroes were already banned out at the time, and this is going to be the final map between these two teams, and it's going to be a great one. Road to BlizzCon Qualifier. We're currently still in the winner bracket here. This winner bracket semifinal. I'm Khaldor, with me is Tetcha, and I'm excited to see which team is able to make this happen.
The Zebo using his zombie wall there to proxy the wave a bit, to slow it down so that it got to the lane a little bit slower. Doesn't proxy it too much, but they're still able to kill off Bob's wave far quicker.
Yeah, and for now we have also, of course, that Seasoned Marksman, which is going to be one of our most important talents to watch out for during the game as a level 1 talent for Raynor. We have a lot of Regeneration Masters here, 2 in total on the side of Bob. We are seeing Anubarak and Arthas running them right now. Besides, with the build, not really any kind of big surprises here. Nightex's Pawn is just a must-have on Johanna. Reanimation for Leoric the same, and everybody in the mid lane already brawling, except for Utho, is hurrying over and saying like, guys, don't fight without me. I'm gonna be there in a sec.
Yeah, both teams right now just posturing, yet to see our first blood Bakery having to back up against Shihu there. We've said this so many times. It's so hard to solo lane against the Leoric.
Ah, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, there's a few heroes that can really pull that off, but it's not easy, and it's extremely annoying as well. So Shihu already up at the top lane, trying to use everything that he has. Snitch with a nice prediction shot. There was no way he could actually see Leoric, but he of course saw him move in there, so he just said like, here buddy, have some damage. And everybody else is still brawling in the mid and the bot lane, where ADRD is of course going to try and push this in. Yeah, set 2 of the creep tumors down already, but most of them are being pushed back. But since he went straight for reconstitution on level 1, he wants to at least at the gate have some creep spread so that he can regenerate these hit points a bit fast.
Leoric having to Wraith Walk again, as Zarmali and Snitch did come in to try and drop him low. He takes off a third of his health, but is still fine.
And the mid lane, another good stun from the Theora Angel. Control of the turn-in points is of course at the beginning of the game extremely important, and Gamers2 has already started to turn theirs in. 12 gems have been turned in by them. And now to the bot lane, even a 4-man rotation pushing ADRD further back. The great thing for Gamers2 is that they have 2 amazing tanks with wave clear, and that's Johanna and Leoric.
Leoric once again getting focused out, and wave clear is pretty useful, but if you keep having to use your only escape ability this often, then eventually he may actually get picked up if it's on cooldown.
Yeah, focus attack now level 4 for Raynor, increasing of course that auto attack damage that he will run later on in the game. He's extremely powerful, especially when he hits level 20 and goes for Nexus Frenzy. The amount of damage that he can dish out is absolutely insane. He does so much damage that a few of the Raynor players that we've seen on this map, wow, that was cool. Seeing the Condemn pull Zarmani into the wall of zombies was pretty sweet. And Nika is just waiting there to finish him off. That was unexpected. He didn't see that coming, but Johanna died as well, and that makes this a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, both teams losing a member there, not able to get too much out of this. Anubarak going for that Legion of Beetles as his level 4 talent, just getting a couple more things out there, helping them keep those lanes pushed.
The cool thing, and I just lost my train of thought there for a second, Raynor actually was, like some of the Raynor players go into a level 4 talent with Vampiric Assaults because they say he does so much damage anyways with Seasoned Marksman on this map. I don't need focused attack to really get the DPS going, but I have extra lane sustain if I use Vampiric Assault instead. And it's actually a great talent, especially then later on if you hit that Nexus Frenzy so that you have a bit more sustainability. That self-sustain can be really helpful. So far in the game, though, it's actually the Polish team that is doing very well here and has already 40 gems turned in.
Yeah, they're looking for their opportunity to try and get that last 5 in, which they do have. They have a 5 sitting around there, attempting to look for a turn-in up in the top lane. And instead have run into a Pharaoh Angel and Bakery, who are trying to drop anyone here, but it's the 2 tanks. They're not able to drop that much damage.
Level 7 is soon going to be ready for both of the teams. It's going to hit a bit faster for Gamers2. And right now these teams are fighting for every inch of the map. They are tied in the series, and this last map is going to be super important. And with Web Weavers, Wave Clear is going to be another very important asset to the teams. We've been talking about Jaina and Leoric. There's of course also Zagara to consider. The Vala player in this case went straight for the multi-shot build too. So the Wave Clear on the side of Gamers2 is insane. And even if Bob is able to get the Web Weavers going for them, they will probably not be around for a long time.
Raynor, as his level 7 talent, taking the fight or flight talent, which allows him to, when he can activate his adrenaline rush manually, so he can get his sustain that way, and it also gives him a bit of resistance, that 25% damage reduction for 4 seconds.
So it's a bit of an escape talent that we're seeing, and he could have gone... Oh, there's Harmony again, getting locked down by the wall of zombies. Bashik was able to hit a few very good ones in this game already. But Johanna locked down! Doesn't seem like she still has a trade, but it's a trade again. We have tank versus tank, Johanna versus Arthas, but the fight isn't over yet, and Bakery in this case is taken out, but also Nazebo dropped. Wow, a massive brawl here. That's a slaughter in the mid lane.
Yeah, Snitch was just there. He was able to zone out Nika by just dropping huge damage, and that is what Raynor does in these team fights. Aphera trying to turn in, but will be denied by Shihu, who has to Wraithwalk, and that will be 26 gems going over to, well, only a couple of them. We saw 12 of there going in for Bob, and that is enough for a turn for a Web Weaver set.
Yeah, so the Web Weavers are going to come into play for the blue team first. 3 kills against 3, very even trades in this game thus far. Snitch and Leo from Korea at the bot lane. AD already moving in now too. And currently when we're looking at Raynor, he has 14 Seasoned Marksman stacks already. Of course, Seasoned Marksman also got buffed in the last patch a little bit, not by too much, but now if you're actually involved in a takedown, you get 3 minion stacks instead of 2, so it's a little bit stronger than before. Bot lane heavily pushed now, and up at the top in the mid lane, we're seeing the rest of Team Bob trying to take down some additional structures.
Yeah, just pushing this in as hard as they can, trying to get any XP for it. They haven't actually got any towers out of this yet, but it will not take long. Snitch just annihilating these towers in the bot lane, and Zarmony going down to take down the next set. Web Weavers down here are already dead, but they still got everything they needed.
Yeah, they got the wall, and you can't really expect more than that. Already good damage against Johanna now too. Raynor moving in, and they are likely to get a kill, and indeed they do, but AD already is low, and so is Snitch. Ethereal Angel is rotating over though, and they could even try and go for one of these targets again, but they don't want to dive the fort yet. They have their heroic abilities though. We have Locust Swarm taken over the potential Web Blast, aka Cocoon, and it is the Hyperion.
Yeah, Hyperion seems to be a bit more popular unless you're going up against something like a melee assassin, where you really want those Raynor's Raiders as that single target. But most of the time, you are seeing the Hyperion nowadays.
Yeah, Snitch moving Shihu back here with his penetrating round. The one thing that we also of course have in the game now is the level 10 abilities for the red team, and in this case it is the March of the Black King. We're also seeing the Blessed Shield, which was already used, the big brawl down at the bot lane where Strafe has been activated by Gamers2. Great more against 3 heroes, really nice move. No follow-up, they're just moving back for now, trying to defend against the Web Weavers. Ravenous Spirit for Nazebo, Ancestral Healing, the heroic ability for Rhaegar of course, and that more was just awesome. That was exactly what they needed to get away from this position.
Yeah, it wasn't even a setup for kills, it was just a great disengage move, and that allowed Bob basically the freedom to defend these Web Weavers without too much grief on their own side.
Yeah, both of the teams basically only lost towers, but the bot lane fort has taken a significant amount of damage. Zarmony is moving in now though, and they're locking down Leoric. A lot of damage in the backline. On the other hand, it is Nazebo who activates the Ravenous Spirit for the extra damage. The Hyperion is moving in the last second Ancestral Healing, saving Leoric. The kill potentially against Snitch, and yes, they get 2, they get 3, and Nubarak, Raynor, and Uther are all dead, and well, Zarmony is apparently lost here. He should get an Android phone with Google Maps because, well, he is on the wrong path.
Other map apps are available. Zarmony goes down.
Yeah, and that's 26 gems that they just lost. So Gamers2 not only able to turn in again thanks to the 73 gems that they are still rocking here, but already ahead in experience. So great job by them, getting a lot of value out of that last Web Weaver set that they were using.
Yeah, and that turned very quickly on its head. Bob were looking really good, and then that fight at Nubarak got a bit caught out, and that Ravenous, we mentioned this before the last time we saw a Nazebo versus a Nubarak, no Cocoon, and as such the Ravenous Spirit went completely unrestricted.
Exactly, it's a big problem. You can always argue that you have that stun available with of course Nubarak, but the problem is really getting that stun in, and it's just so much easier to hit that Cocoon. Now the level 13 talents are ready, and that means Healing Surge for Rhaegar, the Frost Shot for Vala for additional control. We're also seeing them with a Frost. In this case it is again the Ice Block, Crushing Hope and Burning Rage. The mid lane being attacked, and nice condemn here We have no 13 talent for Bob just yet, and that means they have to give up this fort in the mid lane.
Yeah, and that is an issue for them. They are a level behind, which means they're also a talent behind in this case. So they are just trying to soak up and try and defend as much as possible so they can get their level 13 talents as well.
Yeah, the top lane is now being pressured too, and with level 14 already in their hands, Gamers2 is doing really well here. They're close to taking down fort number 2, and they did. It's actually the third one since the bottom one was already eliminated earlier. Bob, on the other hand, they're waiting for the next talent, and then they might be able to fight here, but so far, Gamers2 is really dictating the pace of the game.
Yeah, Gamers2 looking really good. There is that level 13, and down goes the Gara. Once again, Ravenous Spirit going completely unabated. Only used on one person here, but it's enough to continue to give Gamers2 the control they need. So now, once again, on even levels, and Bob are in a situation where they can't fight again.
And they lose their Bruiser camp. Biting Cold taken as a 13 talent. Nika actually zoning. Zarmany locked down, condemned, and is not dying, but it was close. Very close. Too close for comfort. So Zarmany on Arthas is now moving away. Snitch still trying to get as much damage in as he possibly can. And Raynor right now has 26 season marksman stacks already. Absolutely amazing. 11 minutes in and he's at 26, even though they were in a very defensive position throughout the game. That's the amount of season marksman stacks that you get on other maps in like 20 minutes sometimes.
Yeah, he's on 28 now. Just in the time you said he was on 26 stacks, he was able to farm up to another 2 there. Though that's how quickly he's able to stack in this game. And this could be their way to turn around. Once again, they need to fight now before level 16 is hit. They're going in on it too. Oh, Valor getting ancestral healing to Nika. Trying to back away. The Hyperion doing a lot of damage, but it's only on Yuva here. Shihu waiting to engage. He does have March available, so he can try and come in from the side and get his damage off.
One of the big things, of course, here is that Raynor now has also the Giant Killer, and that does so much damage to these tanks. But as you've been mentioning, level 16 is about to hit, and that could be 2 potential imposing presence, which is going to make it a bit more difficult for Raynor to get the damage in. And now that 16 is actually hit, we are seeing, well, the Leaping Spiders, of course. Let's see if one of the tanks, or if both of the tanks are going for imposing presence here. We're currently having Tidal Waves, double imposing presence, and of course the Blood for Valor.
Yeah, Raynor's still going to be doing a lot of damage, but this is their way of trying to nerf that damage out a little bit. Snitch, though, does have his W, though, which does give him that extra attack speed, which he's basically going to have to spam anytime he's going into a fight. Just to get that extra damage off and to counteract that imposing presence.
In a situation like this where you are far behind and your opponent is just turning in over and over again, as we're seeing here once more, the only thing that you can do is just play it safe, try to defend, try to save your keeps, stay back and wait until you hit the level 16 talents. Then start to fight, but don't move out too far, don't overcommit, because you won't be able to really fight these battles just yet. You have to just sit tight and wait it out. There's nothing that you can really do. You won't get that pick when they are currently just like waiting for an opportunity to hit their level 16 and then move out again to maybe gain some momentum. But at the top lane, they're getting caught.
Bakery over the wall here, gets the Divine Shield onto Zagara, keeping her alive, but Zarmany is dropping quite low. Ediani needs to back out of here as the Ravenous is still going, and Zarmany is strafed, trying to finish him off, and he gets out, and Bob able to keep everyone alive there.
Yeah, crazy safe actually. They are also taking down that Webweaver wave. In the middle, on the other hand, we have them already going straight for the keep, and that's where Bob has to defend. They have to do the same thing up at the top lane. They are very likely to lose a keep here if Gamers2 is committing even further. But 4 heroes, 5 heroes are committing to the defense right now. They don't have that extra talent though. Ethereal Angel moves away. I like how they are able to keep everybody alive here, but still Gamers2 is not done yet.
Yeah, and right now, Bob, they aren't getting anything. They're doing an incredible job at surviving, but that's all they're doing. They're just playing defensive. There's the Blessed Shield coming down. They're trying to grab Zagara here, and she does go down very quickly. Much of the Black King does huge amounts of damage. Zarmany getting focused down. He retreats into his keep range. That does give him a chance to escape. Yeah,
Shiku is rather low, but he gets healed. Pushed away by Raynor in the last second. The keep is down, but they are trading 2 heroes. 1 hero? Is it going to be another one? Shiku is actually able to get away, but Vala is dead. And Bashik is going to die as well. He's trying to delay it, but there's nothing else that he can do about it. So they lose 3 heroes, but they get their keep. Now the question, how exactly does Bob react? Are they going to try and go for boss? They should, I feel.
I think they should as well. They've got a lot of spawn timers, and that's exactly what they do. They move straight in, And we can see Gamers2 responding to this really nicely. They're going to attempt to steal that Bruiser camp and then maybe continue to push into that mid lane. Nope, they're actually going to bot lane.
Yeah, they're going to the bot lane and are threatening the keep now. Zagara is starting to rotate over. Now that we have level 17 versus level 18 in a second, and the boss also going to push the top lane, a few of the structures will fall for Gamers2, and that's a lot of experience that is available on the map that Bob can pick up and try and close that gap in experience. Right now, that's where they can fight. That's finally where they can take their chances and fight a few of these battles. And Raynor has 37 season marksman stacks by now, so that's 38 by now. 38 extra damage that he can use together with Giant Killer and with a focused attack, so he's going to do massive amounts of damage.
Yeah, Raynor is the main damage dealer here. Anyone he focuses and can keep that focus on is pretty much definitely going to go down. Zagara joining up with her team very far back here. Does not want to get called out. Once again, Leoric coming in from behind, looking for a good angle on this. And they need to be careful. Zarbody sees him coming, so Bob will know to slightly reposition here. Yuva also coming in from behind. Both the warriors trying to position, but they can't afford to get picked off.
Perfect timing here. The Web Weaver is moving in. The boss as well from the backline. The Warriors are still pushing in, as you already said. But here comes the Hyperion. They're turning around against the Warriors. And all the damage on Raynor. They're trying to take down... Yes, they take down Leoric. They actually get that kill. Yuva is moving in now. The keep up at the top has been eliminated. And Bob is back to business. They have one keep destroyed, the top lane. And they go for the fort in the mid lane as well. The experience is the same at this point, Tetcher.
Wow, Bob, just once they get a foothold, they do not let go. This is a huge comeback from what was a 2-level deficit up to now ahead. They hit level 19 a split second ahead, and they're still soaking. There's still another 4 for them to get to give them that boost towards level 20.
And let's not forget that a lot of the heroes that they have heavily rely on the late game. We see all those regeneration globes now coming into play as Ethereal Angel and his Anuburak and Arthas as well have sick regeneration, and there's that extra damage on Raynor. But now once again Bob is moving in. They're trying to look for the fight, and Ethereal Angel actually goes straight into the wall here, but they turn things around and try to go for Johanna.
Shihu coming in from the side as well. Abathur getting dropped quite low. Shihu just going to dive in here. He may just march to try and slow down the escape. There's the Blessed Shield. Divine Shield immediately used onto Zagara, but the Ravenous Spirit is going completely unprotected again. Yuva and Nika coming out of there, but Leoric is already dead. Abathur Barra charging out. ADRD is not going to survive this, and Bakery is out of position as well. He may go down. There's the Brute. Bakery goes down, and that is a 2-for-1, but no redemption available for Bakery. It's not level 20 yet, so he is out of this fight for a long time.
Yeah, and we see Snitch getting healed here. In comes Yuva again. Uther is dead. What about Anubura? Can he get away here? Doesn't seem to have the mana, but he gets the shield in the last second. And with that Hyperion, Raynor is able to push them away. It's still a 5 versus 3, and that bot lane keep should fall now to the hands of Gamers2. Are they going to try and pursue it? They have a level 20 talent now with a rewind on Rhaegar for the heals. And it looks like they're going to try and go for the core here. Raynor is still alive though, and now finally we have also the extra damage talent on the side of Vala. They're going straight for the Nexus Frenzy. They're moving in, and Snitch is about to die. He's down, and that should be game.
That was basically their last hope, having Snitch do all the damage. Right now, Abathur and Zarbody trying to delay this as long as possible. Zagara will be back soon and might be able to do something about this, but it's not looking pretty right now. The core dropping so quickly, and they're so spread out. The more, even if she had more, it would not be enough to prevent this, and that is GG Gamers2 taking the series.
Well played, well played. A 2-1 victory for Gamers2, taking down Bob here in the winner bracket semifinal at Road to BlizzCon. Very solid game that Bob plays here, but Gamers2 is just a bit too strong. The two teams on eye level in this case, and as it happens, Gamers2 today just a bit too tough for Bob to take down. So very well played here by Gamers2. They take the best of 3 with a 2-1 victory over Bob. Well played here, and a very close match that we saw at the end of the game. So Tomb the Spider Queen, it looked for quite some time as if Bob would be able to take them down, but Gamers2 came back and secured themselves another victory and find themselves now in the winner bracket final. So congratulations to them. Very well played here, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the show as well, and also of course the commentary. If you did, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube, and also if you have any question you can always post them in the comments. That's it for the day, so thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm content here on the YouTube channel. Have a great day and see you soon. Bye bye.